You don't want to miss this one. We're going to dig into how to crush your goals for 2024. We're going to do some tips and strategies, proven concepts on how to make 2024 the greatest year of your life. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Control and Compound. I'm Darren Mitchell, and joining me as always, Christina. Christina, how you doing today?
It's a great day. It's our 100th episode, and for our listeners out there, it's Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas.
Yay, 100th episode being broadcast on Christmas Day. Spoiler alert, we did tape it a few days before Christmas, but for those of you that are listening the day this comes out, Merry Christmas. Hope you had a great 2023 and looking forward to 2024. All right, Christina, you are the goals expert, so we're going to rely on you a little more on this one. Let's dig into goal planning for 2024. What do you have to do first when you sit down and start making goals?
Well, before we jump into it, I am going to remind everybody that if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, make sure that you subscribe and leave that 5-star review. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you always know when new content is coming out. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Control and Compound on TikTok and Instagram.
All right. Well, after 100 episodes, I keep forgetting to mention or give you time to say that. So by 200 episodes, Christina, I will be deferring to you for your little blurb every time. So
thank you.
That's my goal.
That's a goal.
That's my goal. Yeah. By the 200th episode, I won't forget that Christina has stuff to say. Okay. So let's start with what do we do about 2024 goal planning? What's the first step?
So I think the first thing that we want to do is reflect on this past year, right? So how did 2023 go? Did we hit our goals that we talked about last year? Where are we at right now? What do we, reflect, a little bit of reflection on things. So why don't we take some time to reflect on what Control and Compound did, what we did professionally and maybe a little bit personally as well in this last 2023, what happened well, what happened maybe that didn't work out too.
Yeah.
Talk about those things.
Yeah. So Control and Compound had a phenomenal year in 2023. We thank all the listeners and the clients. We had huge growth. We're working in every single province and territory in the country, which is kind of cool. We don't do a lot of work in Quebec because of licensing, but we have some people that have moved there that are clients of ours. We hired some great people in 2023, and we hope to hire some more great people in 2024. I think one of the big things, I think the biggest lessons, Christina, you and I talk about that we learned in 2023 is the old strategy used to be, well, if we wanted to get something done, then it's easy. Just Darren and Christina work harder. And Darren and Christina will be the expert on this, and Darren and Christina will be the expert on that. And we really embraced that Dan Sullivan book, Who, Not How. And we've really kind of tried to emphasize, okay, we need someone to handle our podcasting, our social media, our AI. We need someone to look after contracting. We need someone to look after all these various aspects. And we're trying to find the right who. And that enables you and I to do what we should be doing is, meeting those business owners, real estate investors, helping them implement the infinite banking, do some more social media and some podcasting and stuff. So that was really, I think, probably one of our biggest wins for Control and Compound is who do you need to put in place to grow to that next level? Because you can't grow to 10x by just working harder. You really need to have the right people in place.
Absolutely. I think that was a good learning curve for this past year. Me as well, like letting things go too. Sometimes you just want to do everything because you want it done in the way that you do it, but it's much easier getting someone that you can, depend on to get those things done for you. So I think for me, a huge part of 2023 was that letting go, letting other people help and finding those who's for the team.
That's awesome. And then personal reflections. Again, you all have your individual personal reflections. Had a phenomenal year personally. Kids are doing well. My wife's doing great. We hit some personal goals. All positive there, Christina. What about setting goals for 2024? How do we launch that?
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk about this because we were at a conference not that long ago, and they had a coach there. So he was like an athlete life coach. Anyways, he really works with Olympians, like athletes, really high profile skiers, NFL players, all types of big athletes. And he had started talking and working with business owners. And in this case, it was a room full of financial advisors, planners. And he said that there's a lot there's a lot of similarities between an athlete and like entrepreneurs, right? They've got the same type of mindset. So it's very easy for him to go into the room and kind of give some tips that he would give to an athlete that we can take and implement in our goal setting. So I want to talk a bit about some of the things that he shared with us, because I really do think for our listeners, taking these tips and implementing them into your goal planning for 2024 is going to help. So I want to go through a few of those things. The first thing he talked about, which I think a lot of coaches, and when you're sitting down to do goals, people are going to say, find your why, right? Like that's huge. Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to get these targets or hit these goals in 2023? So figuring that out, I think that's a pretty standard one. We all do that when we're sitting down. But he brought up the screen and he had the word motivation. And he took it and he broke it down into two things: motive and action. And that really clicked for me, right? Because we need both. And I think the motive comes from that why and really figuring out what your why is. So when you're sitting down to do your goals this year, figure out that why from the motive side of things. And then you really got to put it into action, right? Like the why is great, and it's great to know why you're doing it. But if you don't put that into action, it's just going to be another piece of paper.
Yeah, I love that action, because you can look in the mirror and say all the positive affirmations you want. Unless you take action, you're never going to get ahead. And I especially young people, I tell them, like, just pick a lane and go. Just take action and work your butt off as hard as you can towards that goal. And guess what? You might change your mind in 3 or 12 months that isn't what you wanted, or maybe you fail. But it's not really a failure, because you're going to be so much further ahead than where you were when you were standing still. What you would have learned along that journey. So take action, and then we get into the SMART goals. We talked a little bit about this last year on a podcast. What's a SMART goal, and how can we be smart people doing SMART goals?
Yes. So we did do a full podcast on the SMART goals. So if you haven't listened to that one, same time last year, go check that out. It came out. So I didn't want to make this podcast specifically about it, but it is a great way to break down your goals. So for SMART, it's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So those are the things when you're putting your goals down on those lists, you want to make sure that they encompass all of these things. So you want to make sure that they are very specific. So just saying like I want to get healthier in 2023, that's not very specific, right? So you want to make sure it's specific. You want to make sure it's measurable. So maybe you want to deadlift something that would be a measurable, achievable. So you got to make sure it is something that's not, I probably wouldn't say that I'm going to go to the moon next year. It's not very achievable. Relevant. So make sure that, again, I think that comes with the why, making sure that that's something you want to do. And then time bound, giving yourself a timeline for when you want to hit that goal. So I think if each goal, when you're sitting down talking about 2024 goals, just take that SMART and write those out immediately afterwards. So write the goal out, make sure that it's aligned with all of these things. And it's going to be a lot easier to do, because if you find yourself setting these goals without being able to achieve them, it just doesn't happen, right? And you want them to be smaller too. Don't go for that big one. Like I find picking something smaller and building up on the bigger goal makes more sense, right? Because you can't do it all in one day.
Yeah, I love that measurable and track them and then adjust them. Like, I look at goals quarterly. Every quarter, it's like, okay, is this goal still realistic? Is it still the goal I want? Is it a different goal I want? And then pivot to whatever you want. You can't just set a goal. Oh, I'm going to run a marathon, and then 2 days before the marathon, start making plans. You got to plan in advance and say, okay, what am I going to do in the next X amount of months to get there? And then track your progress. Is this still a reasonable goal? Is it still the goal I want, or is it a different goal? Instead of you're waiting at the end of the year next year going, what were my goals again? Let me go back and look at my goals. You should have your goals somewhere that you can see them at all times, or at least daily or weekly. See them, measure them, and see how you're doing. That's how you're going to get ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay, what's next, Christina?
Oh, this one was a good one. So this was a story that he had told, but what he was talking about is how thoughts can directly impact your behaviors. So your mindset, right? And you need to make sure that your external never dictates the internal. So he told this really cool story. This one will stick with me for life, about the thermostat and the thermometer. So when you think of the two, what does a thermometer do? Well, it goes from hot to cold. It measures, up, down, whereas a thermostat really regulates the temperature. So what he said is that in life, you want to be the thermostat. Right? You don't want to fly off the handle when things are getting too much, and you don't want to be, you don't want to be that person that lets the emotion dictate what's happening in the room. And very easily we can get caught up in that. And I think I'm definitely putting this one into 2024 because, you let your emotions take control of things, nothing's ever going to get accomplished. So really thinking of it in that way, like the next time something gets me heated, I'm going to tell myself like, I would like to be the thermostat, right? I don't want to be a thermometer, because you can achieve much more going in with like a solid, like steady mindset and knowing that it is achievable and that, things aren't going to always go the way that you want them to, but how you react is going to change, and how you feel about it is going to change the entire outcome. And you have the ability to do that, right? You decide if you want to be happy or you want to be mad. It's your decision.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds simple, but it's so true. You can choose to be happy or you can choose to be sad. I got a good friend Andrew, and his thing every time you see him, how you doing today? I'm having a great day. And it's infectious. I mean, when people are saying they're having a great day and you say to yourself, I'm having a great day, you do feel better. And we get some employees in Ontario that are fantastic at the gratitude. If you're ever very upset and you're stressed out, spend 3 or 4 minutes giving gratitude for certain things, and it's amazing how your mindset can change. Your circumstances haven't changed, but your mindset changed, and then you're able to adapt it. I do have, something here. I didn't write this book, but it's the Gratitude Journal. Bought this on Amazon for $7.99, and it just daily gratitude. Today I'm grateful for. How will I make today awesome? Positive affirmations, and then you do at nighttime. Little things that made my day, learning from today, and goals and plans for tomorrow. Gratitude is again a proven way to get a better mindset to help you reach your goals. So I love that stuff.
Yeah, no, he even said, and I wrote it down, pleasure in the goal needs to remain greater than the pressure. Always.
All right, so Christine, if we set our goals, we just hit them, and there's never any challenges or problems along the way. Is that the way it works?
I wish. That'd be great. 2023 would have been perfect, and 2024 will be better. But no, unfortunately, you're going to have to, you're going to have to overcome failures. You're going to have to overcome obstacles, and how you deal with that really gives you the outcome at the end. So I think that ties into what we were talking about, is keeping that positive mindset, but not having that fear of failure. I think you mentioned that too before. It's like you're going to fail. You have to, like, I know I'm going to fail at something this year. It's guaranteed. But what you do with that failure and what you learn from that failure, that's what's going to make it easier to hit that next goal. And that's how you want to look at it, right?
Yeah, I remember a bunch of years ago, Christina, you and I decided we were going to start advertising on social media, and we signed up for a course, and we figured out how to do ads, and it was a really great way to determine that we're not good at that.
That was the year I was a developer, a web developer. That was a great year.
It was great in our head. We were going to do all these great, wonderful things, and then we realized, you know what? Maybe we need a who to help us with that. But again, we learned so much from that because we learned, how it works, but we also learned we're not good at it. So we have people now that are great at that assist us. So yeah, you're going to have challenges, but those challenges don't mean it's the end of the world. Those challenges could mean, oh, great, now I see a better way. I prove this way doesn't work. Don't let Darren and Christina do it. Let's let someone who knows what they're doing do it.
But I really do think, like, I truly appreciate that course and learning the insides and out. And we talked about it, and you're like, Christina, this course is going to do more for you than, whatever XYZ course you took back then. And I was like, okay, well, let's try it. But really, I meet with the team every week to go through the ads, what's working, what's not working. And if I didn't have that foundation, that was a failure. It absolutely was at the time. But like, that foundation now gives me the knowledge to know, okay, maybe we pivot here, maybe we do this a bit differently. So it was a stepping stone that really created something much better.
Love it. All right, let's talk about the next one. I love this growth mindset.
Yes, cultivating a growth mindset. So you need to see challenges like they are opportunities, right? And I think that goes back to the Just, having that positive mindset, having that positive attitude and outlook when you go into anything, that's going to change the outcome immediately. But cultivating that and making sure that you keep that around you and you keep yourself goal oriented and looking at the positives, very important in achieving those goals. So I think we're talking a bit more about how we're going to achieve the goals over the year as well, and keeping that mindset is definitely one of them.
Yeah, I love that growth mindset. I read a great book a number of years ago. It was called Mindset. Was it Carol Sweek? I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right, but just Google Mindset. Like 20,000 reviews on Amazon. It was a really cool book, just how to get you in that mindset. And again, you look at all these successful leaders and business people. They're doing this, right? You might think it's a little hooey or stuff, but this stuff actually works. And you look at some of the great leaders, and this is what they're using. They're visualizing. They're using the growth mindset. So I love that stuff. But Christine, a lot of us set goals, and then we go, okay, great, we've got a goal, and then we don't really track it. We don't really tell anyone about our goal. We don't really have anyone to call us on it. So what can we do about that?
So that's bringing in like the accountability and the support, right? So the accountability is huge. I think the support's just as important. Like that coach that that I've been talking about, he also mentioned he worked with the majority of the athletes that he works with are in individual sports, like a skiing or a snowboarding, right? You're not working, and he had explained you need stop saying I. Stop saying I, start saying we. And it changes the whole outlook because that support system and that accountability to the team. So now it's just not you going out there to win this. It's, you and your team that are doing it. It's you and your team that are sharing it. And I think that support and accountability gives you that, sharing the goals. Like if you make a list of goals today, go sit down and talk to somebody. When we do our goal planning, we're not doing it individually. Darren and I are sitting down in the boardroom and we're spending hours going through what 2024 is going to look like for our goals. And we do that because now we're accountable. Like if we both know this is what I'm in charge, this is what we're doing. And when we hit second quarter and, we go back and we look at these things and it hasn't been done, well, we know it was a we thing. It wasn't it was a we. We're all on this team. And it keeps you on track. Like you just can't say that you're not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't. Like what are you going to do? We can't show up on Friday without a podcast. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's going to throw off the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like they call it the accountability partner. I love the accountability partner. It's no different than going to the gym. If you look at the stats of someone that decides in January they're going to start going to the gym, and how many people fall off after the month, and then you look at the stats of, well, how many people that have a gym buddy. They have a gym accountability buddy that is like, all right, you're going to go to the gym 4 days a week with, your friend, whoever. And then some days you're not going to want to go. And then you're still going to go because you can't let down your friend. Or if you have a personal trainer and you're paying for that personal trainer, it's like, I don't feel like going to the gym today. Well, Michael Phelps talks about this. The great athletes are the ones that do the stuff when they don't want to. So that accountability partner, and there's great technology for that. There's apps to make you accountable. There's devices. I've got this Whoop watch that's gonna, if tracks your heart rate variability, tracks your sleep, and all of a sudden, a couple days when you're not eating great and you're not exercising, it's like, ooh, your heart rate variability's been going down. What have you been up to? And it's like, oh, okay, crap. I better eat a little better. Better go to the gym and stuff. So whatever works for you, find an accountability partner. Tell people your goals, and it's a time tested, proven way to increase the likelihood you'll stay on track.
Absolutely.
So speaking of accountability, Christina, too, we talked about sharing the goals. These are your personal goals. You really should be sharing with your family. Like we want to share these goals, not just the more you share your goals, the more you put it out there. If you got a social media and you're going to tell the world about it, that's going to hold you accountable because you're going to go, oh crap, I told everyone I was going to do this. I can't not do it now. And that's impactful. And then you'll be so grateful you did that because it will hold you on track and help you hit your goals. So what about control and compound, Christina? How are we doing goals differently for 2024? It was kind of cool. We did a performance reviews in the last couple of weeks, and we kind of create some new goals for team members.
Yeah, I was excited to do this, and I think it came from that we concept as well. It's not, in how we work, and there's definitely there's sales, like in how we make sales, but then there's also a whole team in the back office that might not be out there making sales, but they are definitely adding and helping with those sales. So this year we're doing a team goal. So it's a goal for Control and Compound as a whole to hit certain targets. And when those targets get hit, the whole team is going to receive those benefits. And I think that's important because it's the whole team that's working towards the success of the company. And when you feel a part of the company and you know that what you're contributing is going to, it makes it's different, right? It makes you wanna, well, we have great team members anyways. They do want to work, but I also want to make sure that for their hard work, they get rewarded for hitting those targets too, right? So I'm super excited. This will be their first year doing that. And we'll tell you about it next year, but I feel like it's really going to work. I think we're going to see the success in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's in strategic coach, we talk about front stage and backstage, kind of the same idea. Like, sure, Christina, we're on the front stage. We're doing the podcast. We're meeting a lot of clients and our wealth coaches and stuff. But that backstage, without the backstage, that production
Nothing
doesn't
happens.
happen, right?
No.
So you need to support that backstage. And yeah, I'm really excited for the team was pretty excited about the goals we set and like, oh, we get this if this happens. So now everyone's kind of pulling along the same way.
And we're going to track it too. So we also said that's the big on accountability and the tracking side, that in team meetings, because we do weekly team meetings, we're going to make sure that we're tracking towards those goals in each team meeting and talking about how each one contributed to it, which I think is important as well to get there.
It makes us accountable, right? Because now we have to show our results every quarter to the team, every month to the team and say, this is what we've done. And then that's going to better keep us on track to where we want to go. And to wrap up here, like I love this goal setting. We talk often about the foundation is the most important part of your home. Without a rock solid foundation, the house crumbles. And then we equate that to your finances, and we say the base of your financial plan has to be rock solid, bulletproof, place of control. We believe cash value life insurance is the foundation of that. But when we look at your overall health, I think one of the things people, especially in their younger years, overlook, now people in their 40s and 50s are starting to clue into it. If you look at the foundation of your health plan, sleep has got to be the foundation of that health plan. So if you're not getting good sleep, there's all kinds of resources out there. There's great books, there's great podcasts, there's great devices, there's mattress pads, there's all kinds of sleep trackers on your wrist. There's all kinds of things to do. But if you want to achieve great personal goals, if you don't have a strong foundation, it's going to be really tough to achieve those goals. So for those of you listening, I emphasize you get a handle on your sleep. Are you getting enough sleep? Because with that, everything gets better. Just like with cash value life insurance, your finances get better.
Good tie-in, Darren.
All right. That's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe. And if you want more information, check out our website, controlandcompound.com, and you can sign up for an education session with one of our wealth coaches.